Hello everyone, good evening. I'm audible? Yes, hello guys.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes,
Okay,
you're audible.
okay. All right, so we have enough participants, so we can get started now. All right, so just to make sure, you guys all received your welcome kit? Anyone who is pending with the welcome kit? Did you guys get some email called as welcome kit
Yes,
or
Yes,
sir.
sir.
something?
I received.
Okay. And
Hi,
do you?
Sagar. Sajid
Yes.
here. Actually, I haven't received the welcome kit.
Okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry guys. So I had some issue with the screen sharing. Okay. So regarding the welcome kit, let me tell you what it consists of. It consists of your web portal access. Okay. And within the web portal, you will receive something called as class 0, which has link to the Google Drive. You can download the files which is required for home lab and the workbooks and the reading materials. And apart from that, there is a information about remote lab access and a support DL if in case you're stuck with any lab access or you need a assistance on home lab. Okay, so these are the few contents there. It's very straightforward portal. You click on learn.networkjourney.com, and within your my courses, once you log into that, you will see my courses, and then whatever course is assigned to you, you should able to see on the screen. Okay, let's say some course is assigned to me. Okay, and for all the class 0, within the class 0 you will find all the links to the required things. Okay, and there is where would be the recordings and all those things put up. So those guys who are with us, you guys know how it works. Some people join for the very first time and may not know the things here. Okay. All right. So that's regarding to the welcome kit. Regarding to the course material, okay, regarding to the course content, we would be going with the day-wise curriculum. Okay. We covered 2 demo classes last weekend, but very basic demo classes. On one demo class, I took like what is basic on firewall, and on the second demo class, I went with a basic on Palo Alto. But we would be coming up all this topping in the later on classes as well. So whenever a topic is marked, I will try to close it off, so we know the progress of the class. Those guys who didn't join the demo class, you guys feel free to go to our YouTube channel and get it from there. So there is already these two classes, and also in the web portal, I have kept it already. So if you want to take it from there, you can check it out from the web portal itself, or you go to the Network Journey YouTube channel, and these are the two classes, 1.5 hour each. Okay, some basic classes. All right, so what do we start today with? We will start with the administration part. How do you administrator the firewall? Okay, so I'll show you the topics like the initial or management IP configuration, or else how do you configure banners or message of day logos, the different tracking method of administrator, the commit configuration methods, taking up of a backups, okay, the administrator role types, authentication, the different frequently used port in the Palo Alto between HA, IPsec management, okay, the bootstrap process, device telemetry. And this topic I'll cover it up might be on the second day, because we will not have enough time today to cover the home lab setup creation. This is just for knowledge basis. As I told you, we already have the lab put up on our Google Drive. So you just directly take it from there. Okay. But again, I'll just cover it for your understanding. And once you are done with administrator part, I'll assign you some workbook that you need to do it. So workbook part 1, you can attempt after the class. And if you have time, you can attempt part 2 before you come to the next class, or else do it on the weekdays. Okay. And then if you have any question, you can let me know. So for day 2, that is for tomorrow, I'll start with the networking concept, like how do you configure interface, what are different types there, virtual router, and that is how the topic will commence here. Okay, so I hope I'm clear with the expectation here. If you have any doubt, you can feel free to unmute and let me know. But again, it also creates a disturbance to all others as well. So when you unmute, just wait for the topic to get over, and then you can ask me any questions. I would always put a pause between one to other topic. So at least have some patience whether when I go to the second topic, then you can ask me any question related to that topic, and that is how we will proceed. Okay, so all clear, right? Okay, so those guys who have received welcome kit, as I told you, there is already instructions about your lab access, and our labs are located on this link. It's called rack.networkjourney.com. So I'm just using one of students' access for now, just to show you how do you log in. So let me log in with a student who is so and so. Okay, this is your first login to the lab. Then you will input a second password here. The password is all given on the mail itself, welcome kit mail. Okay, let me close this and let me restart from start. Open up your browser, any browser. So Mozilla would be on the top. The IP for your lab would be given on the welcome kit email. So for this student, it was given as 24.4. Might be you might have 20.24.8 or 24.24, whatever IP it is. Check your mail and then accordingly give this. It's gonna ask you for username and password. That's also mentioned on the email itself. And this is how the lab would look like. Okay. So let me show you how would you start these nodes. So these are called nodes. Okay. Each node. So these are Palo Alto node here. And then you have some users and some servers on the access layer side. These are some switches. Okay. And what I have seen is if we set a static IP on the management, okay, if we set the static IP on the management, and if you try to take the access within another PC within the lab, it will slow down the process. Okay, there would be a lot of freeze and lot of slowness that you can see. So the best option is go with DHCP. Instead of static IP, go with DHCP. That is why we have configured a DHCP cloud here, not a bridge option. Earlier it was bridge. Now we have removed bridge and we have put the cloud directly. So the benefit is when you power on these firewalls, let's say I power on one of the Palo Alto. So you right click and click on start button. It will turn into a bluish ink. Okay, you see the rest of them are shown as a grayed out color, whereas this is shown up as a bluish color with the logo. So you double click. When you double click, the CLI will open, the console will open to this. Okay, you can just maximize the screen by clicking on this button. Okay, this way. Wait for some time. It takes easy 2 to 5 minutes sometime for the backend process to get stable. Once the backend process gets stable, then hit the username and password admin and admin. Okay. Again, now there would be some people who might make a mistake. So let's say user is by default admin, password by default is admin. This is your one-time login, first time. And then it will ask you to reset it, give any structure, but it should match their expectation. That is a single uppercase, lowercase, special character, some numbers. So I would recommend go with this because it will cover all of these requirements: uppercase, lowercase, special character, and the numbers. Once you do this, that's all. The next time, even if you power off, you power on, it will start working from this password itself. Okay. So it takes some time, 2 to 5 minutes it will take. So don't be in hurry to type your credentials. Initially, it will give you a failed attempt. So don't put failed attempt, because after a certain number of failed attempt, your Palo will get logged. And then you have to wipe the config and then restart the process. So better wait for 5 minutes. Okay, so see now it is shown up as a login prompt, but as I told, you need to wait. Okay, what happens? You start hitting your username or password. See, it will say that password incorrect. Let me try network journey at the rate 123. It will still say password incorrect. Need not be necessary that you are really putting down a wrong password. It's because your process, the backend process, Tomcat process, the MySQL process, it needs some time. Okay. All right. So until that process gets stabilized, let's see what else we have in the lab. Okay. So that's why I said we will keep DHCP, because DHCP will help me to get a IP on my management interface. And that IP, I can take it anywhere from my local machine itself. So that particular IP I can access from my local machine. Local machine in the sense within the remote server local machine that we have given to you. Okay, within that. Otherwise you guys would have to take a browser from the lab itself. That will slow down. Don't use that. Okay, you can use the local browser, and it is HTTPS, not STTP. By default, it works only on STTP. So whatever IP you receive, 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒚.a, whatever IP, trigger it with HTTPS. You will get the graphical interface, and then you have to log in with the same default username password, and then you can change it on the very first time. And that's all. Once you do that, then you can just log in with the one which you have changed it. Okay, so let me go back here. Let me try with admin or admin network journey, if in case I have changed it already. Okay, it is taking time, so no worries. Okay, let it take time. Okay, apart from that, as of now, if I have to say from the new deployment, so let's say if you have to wipe something, you have to clear any, let's say you configured something and you lost the configuration or the device got corrupt and you want to put a clear factory default setting. Okay, the option on this lab is, first you have to unlock. There is an option on the left hand side. The password to unlock this lab is network journey, all lowercase. Unlock it, give a refresh. Then you visit that particular node, right click. There is an option for wipe. Okay, you just click on wipe. Now the previous configuration will get erased up and it's a brand new device now. If you want to add something, which I would not recommend, because if you add something, then our workbook may not be applicable for that. So you have to be responsible for the config that you would be doing that. But let's say you want to add one more device. So you right click here, node, you get an option like what node you want to deploy. Let's say you need Palo Alto, you will click on that. Okay. We have both 9 and 10, your choice. If you want to test something on 9, you select 9. You want 10, then you select 10. Okay, no changes to be done on any side, keep as it is, and click on save button. It will start reflecting. Before you switch on, you have to cable it so that management network can provide a DHCP IP to the management interface. So let's say you lay a cable. So when you hover on that node that you just deployed, there is small wire kind of projection happening. Just pull it out and connect to this cloud. Okay, just drop it on that. And by default, it might be showing you Ethernet 1/1. Don't keep Ethernet 1/1. I'll tell you why. One reason is Palo Alto already offers you a dedicated interface for management itself. Don't keep any other interface. Okay, that is one reason. Second reason is Palo's management interface is that interface where HTTPS, SSH, ping would be allowed by default. If for some reason you keep it 1/1, okay, and if you try to do a HTTPS or SSH, or if you're trying to take a management on that, it will not work. Okay, because you have to first allow them. Once you allow, then only you can take HTTPS on the IP that was received here via DHCP. So don't add this in the beginning itself, because your management profile may not have been added to this. It is added only to the management interface, which has all this by default enabled. Okay, so that's the second reason. Since there is a dedicated interface, I'll select that. Then I'll click on save. Then wipe it first, even though it was a brand new, wipe it first, then start it up, power it on, and then you can just double click on that. The interface will start. Okay, so this is how the console would look like. It takes some time for loading up. So meanwhile, let's check that one which we had powered on. Let's say admin and admin. Yeah, see, now it looks like the process is stable in the backend. It is asking me to change it. So first I will give the old password, then I will apply the new password. Network journey 123, network journey 123. Okay, now it says password is changed. Password is changed. Okay, and within another, yeah, see it's up now. Now my interface is up here. Let me see if I can increase the font size of the screen. Okay, so this is the font size. Okay, to see the interface IP, you type show interface management. It will give you the management details. Okay, and this is your IP address, the IP address received via DHCP cloud. Okay, and that IP address will straight away go to your browser. As I told, again, don't by mistakenly go and put a tab here, because our lab is over on a browser based. Okay, people does a mistake. Our browser is a browser based. So the browser that you need to work is inside this. Inside this, you have to create different browsers, not tab, because tab is local to you, whereas remote is our lab setup, right? So you go to that itself, minimize this, and then open up that browser which is on your local machine. From here, you have the reachability. So it's 172.16.29. As I told you, go with HTTPS, but let me show you what happens with HTTP 172.16 29.117. It will not work because, as I told you earlier, management profile on the management interface is already assigned, and by default it will work HTTPS, SSH, and ping only. HTTP is blocked. Okay, so don't spend hours on triggering your management access over on HTTP. It will not work. Go with HTTPS, then apply the DHCP IP that you received. Okay, it will give you a certificate error, but that's fine. It's a lab environment. Click on advance, accept the risk and continue. Advance and okay, this is the PA10 dashboard. Admin. If you want, you can save it. Otherwise, this is a student machine, so I'm not gonna change anything my side. Okay, let student do that. It is asking me for the password change. Old password, new password. Keep it the same so that you don't have. So you can maintain two different password, but I would recommend keep same so that you don't forget your GUI password. Accept the risk, resend. Okay, now what happened? Okay, I think our lab went down or something. Okay, let me check the IP. Looks like it went down. Okay, let's see admin. Don't save, advance, accept the risk, resend. Your login session has expired. Let me try one more time. Admin. So this happens because of browser cache and all. Okay. So let me retry one more time. Network journey @123, network journey @123. Change password. Don't save. And for you guys, if you're dealing all this, better use the new private window. Okay, so that catch is not been creating a problem. Okay, now the password has changed. I will input that new password, network journey @123. Don't save. Creating the administrative session. Okay, it says server rebooting. Looks like there is a problem with that node. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, looks like it is booting up still. Sometimes image might get corrupt. Okay, this is all virtual images. So if that is the case, what you do, wipe it and then restart the process. Okay, that is why I showed you the process of wiping the thing. It don't happen, but it can happen since it's a virtual image. See, now in this case, we came till here, but now it says that server is rebooting. Okay, so instead of wasting the time, if if I have to work on this, I would have closed this and might be open up another one, or deleted this and deployed a new one. Okay, because that can happen sometime. Okay, what I'll do is I'll open my instance. Let me see here. I'll show you the rest of things on this. Even I'm using 24.4 itself. Okay, but I had powered on them, so it should be over here. Okay, 29.120. So once the password is being changed, I'll log in with network journey @123. Okay, admin. Okay, says creating administrative session. Please wait. Okay, so this is how your front end will look like. You will get some reminders to enable it. I'll come to this, what is telemetry data collection. For now, you just say remind me later. This is the front dashboard. Okay, you will see on one side the complete detail of your Palo Alto. This will say whoever is logged in as a admin. The data logs will start reflecting here. These are system logs. Okay, and the config logs would be shown up here. If any administrator has taken the log, okay, let's say he is configuring something or he's committing the change, he has a provision of taking a log, so that will start be visible here. This is all your application control risk. So which application is consuming more bandwidth, what type of applications are getting executed in your network, everything related to application you will see. And this is like a risk factor. Like if it will show you like 4 dot something, it will start showing you like 1 dot something. That means there is some problem with your application on your side, network related issues. Okay, this is how the front end look like. You can change few things. You can change the timer of refresh. Uh, you can change the layout structure. You can add the widget. If you want to add something, there are enough rooms here. You can add it and customize it. Okay. And at the footer bottom, it will show you who you logged in as, logout option, the last login time on this firewall, what is the session time for this, and if there is any other administrator on the same time trying to push something or something was being done on the firewall, it is gonna keep the record and it is gonna give you failed attempt on and all those things. So if you click here, okay, it will show me the complete failed login reports. Okay, someone was trying to log in and got failed, and all those things will start reflecting here on the footer. And on this side, you will have something like task, like it's called as a task manager. Normally you have some filters. You can say that you are looking for report. Okay, some report was completed at so and so time. Some jobs were run by admin. He tried to commit. You can also see like details like whether it was successful or what. You can also see there was some commit which went failed. Okay, it's like a task manager for you at the bottom. And then there is a language you can just change, and this interface will change. Don't do that, then we'll keep it English itself. Okay. And on the top end, you have the main menu. Now, right now we are in the dashboard. ACC is nothing but, as I told you, application control widget, keep complete track of your application, consumption of your application, the risk factor. This is all your monitor tab, where you will track all your logs and monitor purpose. Network policies you will add here. All your object related configuration you will do it here. Network related like interface, virtual router, the different network concept you will add it here. This is your management tab. Device is another management tab. If you click on management, okay, once you click on device, so a lot of management related configurations you find it here. So once you have opened a branded Palo Alto, let me tell you what are the basic things that you have to do it. So you will click on device, you will go to management. There is a small button here, a setting button. You will find it on all of the widgets. So if you're making any changes to this, just find out the nearby setting button. You have to click on that, and then you can make a change to that. Okay, so if you click it here, let's say you wanted to change the host name, you can do that. Okay, you want to do some changes with the timing, you can do that. I'll just put, might be Asia for now, because this will help you for all your logs and all that purpose. Okay, so let's say Asia Delhi. Okay, and click on OK once you've done something on that. If you scroll down, there are more number of things that you can do, but I'll go it step by step rather than showing all together. Apart from this, might be you can update your DNS and NTP server. So if you are receiving an internet timestamp with hours, so you can put that. DNS server is good for your address resolution. Okay, and NTP is for your internet. So you can just add some open source. Okay, and for NTP server, you can just define, let's say as of now, I'm giving it as so and so. But as you know, there are a lot of NTP servers available worldwide. So whichever is nearest to you, you feel free to add them. Let me show you. Okay, there are some free NTP servers. See, these are all region based. Okay, so if this Palo is located nearby India, then I can think about something which is nearby to me. If it is on UK, then you will configure so and so thing. For now, I just put it as a random concept. If there is any authentication, since it's a internet freely available, we don't have any authentication. But if I would have another router or another server which is acting as NTP, and I maintained the keys there, then I have to follow the key there and I have to get authenticated. For now, let's just do basic thing. Click on OK. Okay, so what I did host name, and I did the DNS and the NTP process. Okay, very basic thing. Now once I do that, you see that it is started showing me as some pending changes. Okay, so once you click on that, once you click on the pending changes, it will also show you what are the changes, and it will also show you who did the changes, and it also let you option like what changes you need to commit. You want to commit all the changes done by a lot of other people, or only admin. Okay, or there can be other administrator also whose changes might be pending for approval. Correct. So if you put this, it is gonna commit all the change. But if you select to go with administrator to administrator, then you can do that. Okay, so in this case, as of now, it is only one person who has logged in. If you want to see the check, like if you want to validate, normally what happened, the network administrator will do the change, and then there would be a level 3 or level 4 administrator who wants to check the preview first. So there is a option how many previews lines you want to see. Go with the maximum. It will give you more number of changes that was done. So this is your running configuration, and this is your candidate configuration. I'll again come to this. There are two types of uh, configurations that we see: running configuration and candidate. Running is that which is in your NVRAM. Candidate configuration is a copy of a running configuration, but with some added content or some deleted content. So what is that? That is what we are validating. See now, first change. It was earlier US specific on a original running config, but I changed it and now it is good or bad. I as a administrator have to decide it. Okay, the junior engineer might have proposed it. So if it is good, then I do it. If it is not good, I can reject this. Then that administrator did some changes. He did add some host name, some primary and secondary DNS and all these things. Okay, what else did he do? He didn't do anything else apart from that. I'm good with it. If I think he has done a right job, I can go back and I can just validate by clicking commit, or I can just put a CR number that validated, looks good, good to commit. And I can propose this, or I can commit it. Once I commit it, now whatever was that candidate thing, it will go and hit on the running configuration also itself. But for some reason, let's say I'm not happy with this, I can revert back. Okay, there is option here where I can just remove whatever is present there. The complete config, which is seems to be pending for approval, I can just cancel the entire thing, and I can ask him, uh, this is something not as per expectation, and you better reapply so and so thing. So all that option is available in Palo Alto. Let's say for now I have validated, I'm happy with the thing. As I told you, there are two options here, but as of now, I'm only one person, so I can click on all changes and commit it. When I commit it, that will go to the real appliance. Otherwise, it is only located on the software, on the dashboard itself. It is not reflecting on the real box. So any doubt so far?
Sagar, a quick question. Um,
Hello.
Hi, Sagar, can you hear me?
Yes, but you're
Yeah,
very,
this is Joshi.
yeah, your audio is very low. I don't know, might be for me or, okay, yes, tell me.
Is it better now?
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. After committing it, right? Can we revert that change? Let's say one engineer has prepped some changes, right?
Yes,
After committing it, let's say he committed the change, and we want to revert back that particular, session,
got
or
it.
yeah, can we do that?
We can do that. We can do that. We can do that from this point itself. This is
Okay.
this is where you will do all the revert back option. This is related to your taking backup, snapshot, and all those things here in Palo Alto. Okay, I'll
Okay.
show you this.
Okay. And once it's committed, like it's going to be directly implemented on the device. Like most of the time, when we publish or when we commit the changes, right? Uh, After the push has happened onto the firewall, then only the policy is going to be deployed on the firewall, right? But here, but in Fortinet, I saw it like it's like different. When we commit it, is like directly going onto the device without any policy push or something like that.
See here, when in Palo Alto, when you do the commit, it will internally check the compliance part also. Okay, if there is any issues like this is already overlapped with an existing thing, or if there is some issue or missing thing, it is gonna show me right away here that this is failed and due to this and this reason. But if
Yeah.
it says successfully committed, that means it has gone to the box now,
Okay.
the real appliance.
Okay.
Okay. And as I was telling you about the revert, you can actually revert it from here. If you say revert to last save configuration,
Mhm.
okay, in one single click, you can just revert all the changes back to where it was. Okay. There is
Yeah, I
option
mean,
of, yeah.
the previous one, right? But not to the specific admin configuration that he did, right? That's I mean, when we do the revert for the last save configuration, I mean, whatever the changes that has been done through that day or that weekend, then it's going to be revert back to that previous config, right? But not let's say if 10 engineers are prepping the changes, and if only one office session like need to be reverted back,
Mhm.
in that case, is that possible? That's
Yeah, that
that's
option is also available here. So when you take, see, for example, when you take the option, there is an option for you to save a new file. Okay, let's say this is Monday.
okay.
Okay, you click on OK. So that this is how you can take the day wise backup here, and then you can revert on the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that is how it works here. Okay, I'll come to all this thing in a short
Thank you.
while. Okay.
Thank
So
you so
this
much.
is your this is how you do the manual. I mean, this is how you bring up your management thing. Now, first, as I told you, we will discuss about the administrator part of it. Okay, before we get towards any configuration part. So administration part will deal with how do you handle or what are different ways to talk to the Palo Alto. Okay, so first let's discuss what are the different ways you can talk to the Palo Alto firewall or appliance. Okay, if I say firewall or appliance, they are the same thing. Don't be confused. Okay, so there are four ways we can talk to Palo Alto firewall. One is the CLI method. One is the graphical method. One is your API method. You can go with either XML or REST API. And the fourth method is Panorama. Okay, which is also called as that centralized solution. So right now we saw the CLI and graphical. After certain topic completion, then I'll show you XML and REST API also. Panorama we cannot see. I can just show you the theoretical topic there. Okay, Panorama needs license and all those factor. But these are the four ways to handle Palo Alto or apply the things and all those things. Okay. I also told one thing, that is with respect to management profile. I told you go with HTTPS. There are certain things already enabled. Okay, go with the management interface. Then only you can get that initial access. Don't go with ETH, etc., etc. So where do we see that is, if you go to the dashboard, okay, go under device, and there is one option here called as management. Okay, device interface. Okay, so under interface, under management, there's already this profile created, which says that management interface by default can uh, respond to HTTPS, SSH, and ping. For interface, in case in future you want to make some interface as a backward compatibility for management. Why do we need that backward compatibility? Because if in case uh, if in case you lose the reachability on that management interface for some reason, that management dedicated interface is not working. So you should have a backward compatibility to still manage the Palo Alto, right? So you can still make any interface capable for management purpose. Okay, let's say Ethernet 1/1 and Ethernet 1/2. Out of other dedicated interface, you want these to be converted into data interface as well as management. Don't think that only management, data plus management. So so that if you have an IP of so and so, you can still take HTTPS from that particular network. Okay, because let's say user sitting on this network, okay, who do not have reachability on this management network, they can still take the control of the firewall dashboard over on HTTPS 1.1.1. You can still do that. For that, you have to create some management profile first. Okay, so under network, you have the option of interface management. You will click on add, and you can say that this is for physical management purpose. Now here is option whatever you want to allow, but the best practice says don't allow HTTP and telnet. You can go with HTTP, SSH, ping. Okay, and again, these are some optional thing. User ID and response page. When you need the response page, etc., to be enabled on that, you can go with that. Okay, otherwise HTTP, SSH, ping is sufficient. Click OK. Then you go to interface. Take any interface, and then you can add that particular. Say for example, I say this is layer 3. Over under advanced, I have option here. So this interface by default will not allow HTTPS or SSH or ping for management reason, but I can add a management profile to make it data plus management reason. Okay. So this is the way we can convert any interface, but by default, you now know how the management profile was activated on a dedicated management interface. Okay. Regarding the sign-in process, guys, let me say I log out from this. When I click on login, okay, there are two ways normally here in Palo Alto. One is your local method. Okay, two ways of authentication. So the first method is SSO method. You also call the process as SAML. Okay, identity provider, IDP. So you have to look for some services. There is one service which I remember called as Mini Orange. Okay, with support, you can have a SSO configured. So whatever user, whoever is the user, you will add it here. Okay, and on the login page, when you type, let's say you type it as so and so. So this will go and check on this server and the backend whether this is a rightful user for authenticated or not. And since this is a SSO process, he will type only the username. Okay, and that will get checked in the backend. Then you will be prompted for either the token or the password, however you have configured on this backend server. So this is a SSO process. Second process is when you have a local users created. Again, local users in the sense you can have many more other factors within Palo Alto. Okay, like sometimes what happens is Palo Alto itself has external services capable, like you can have Radius or TechAs. Okay, or SSO also is available option here, or you can have this option. Okay, or duo factors. Different options are available. So let's say you have a user created here, a local user created. So by default, we have admin as a local user created. So when you open up a firewall, brand new firewall, you will have only admin as the user created. So we will log in here. Now this is a local credential, local user who is inside the Palo Alto. Okay, go once again to device section. Go to administrator. Okay, so this I had created. I will just delete it for now. I'll show you how do we create a new administrator. So by default, there would be only one user, admin, which we just had changed previously. And if you want, you can still change it. But this is one person who would be as of now there. But as I told you, Palo Alto itself has different ways to have the external services created. So you have all the methods listed here. Okay, I'll show them under authentication process. So when is that authentication process coming? Let me show you. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so authentication process. So this is a administration process. Authentication process will come here. That time we will discuss about all the different factors here. Okay, I'll show you the different configuration. For now, let's stick on topic by topic. Otherwise, we will never understand what is going on. So just now we saw initial configurations. We saw what are default things present already inside Palo Alto. How do you log in? Okay. Now let's see what are these things like configure banner, message of day, logos. What does this mean? So if you go to device, you click on setup. Okay. Go to management. Over here, you will see all the options that you can use and modify. Say, for example, banner and message. You click on this button. Message of the day. Welcome to network journey. You can have a option which can, rule out this popping up always you log in. You can select this, allow do not display again. So there would be a small tick mark on the screen. So anyone who is logging in, he can tick mark and stop that coming again and again. Okay. Title, you can keep whatever you want. You want to change the banner icon, whatever you want to do that. You can also change the banner headline. You can change any graphical cosmetic changes, up to you. Same banner for header and footer. Yes, enough, sufficient for us right now. What else can you do? This was banner and message. You can also change something called as logo. Okay, logos can also be put up. So let me show you that part. Okay, for that, I will go under device setup operation. And one more thing, guys, once you do something on one tab, even if you're going elsewhere, you don't have the concept of saving it or making a commit part by part. You do all the changes, then you can commit for once. Okay, there could be some firewalls where navigating from one tab to another, you have to click on save. Otherwise, you might lose that changes that you might have done. There is no concept here. So you just feel free to do all the necessary change and then you commit it. So I go back to device setup. I'll click on operations. Okay, then there is an option here, custom logo. Let me see if I have some logo. I will try to change and show it to you. The document. Okay, what is this? Okay, I don't know what is this, but I'm gonna add that. Again, it depends on the pixels and all those things. Okay, so let's say close. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a commit to this. So when I do commit, I have option to go and validate, but still we have seen that. So let's not again kind of spend time on that. Otherwise, it will start showing you whatever commit you have done there. So wait for this. Take some time. Okay, so if there is any error captured, it will reflect here. If it's all good, then it will say it's good. %99, and we're waiting for that last percent. It says configuration committed successfully. Close this. Let's validate where are those banners and welcome messages. So what I do is I'll go and click on logout first. Successfully logged out. Login. Okay. Let me refresh it once. Okay. You know what is this? This is that logo that we added. Yeah, see that logo we added over here. Since that image itself was some what was it, by the way? Okay, it was something, that is why it's not visible on this page. Let me see if I can open in tab. Yeah, see. So the logo got placed, but since the font color is in the white color, it's not reflecting. Okay, so whatever logo you add, you can add it here. Your company logo, whatever logo, you add it here. I'll show you the welcome message and message for the day. Login first. Enter. See, things got changed. See, message of the day is visible. You have that option of do not show again. Okay. So this is your message, whatever message, company standard, compliance, whatever you want to do, you can do that. You also saw the title now, network journey. You have changed the color coding here. Okay. So this is what the cosmetic changes you did to match up your enterprise standard or whatever it is. Okay. Or you want to do it, you can do this changes if you know you have to do it. Okay. So that was about the banners. Okay. Not much there. Let's make a move. Administrator login activity indicator. Now, what is that? That is nothing but what is the other administrator doing on the firewall. If I have to track what is the other person applied, or what is he doing, how many failed logins he did, it start reflecting on this part. But To see that, we need to have another administrator, correct? So what I'll do is, I'll show you first, might be to create an administrator. That was this topic. Okay, role type, administrative authentication. So once I show you this, then I can show you this, because we need some more administrator in our firewall who would do some issues or something. Or let me try to do a error from another browser. Let's see if that can record it. Okay, so I'm trying to do some login issues. I say admin and I'll type a wrong password. Login. It will give me invalid as an option. Okay, so let me wait if it shows me some warning message or something. See, there is one warning message at the bottom. So I'm gonna click on do not show for now, close it. There is that button here. Okay, click on that. You will see what is happening. So failed authentication for user admin, reason invalid so and so and so and so. Okay, this is called failed login attempt. In case you want to see, okay, administrator login activity indicator. If someone logged in, it will start showing that this user admin logged in at so and so time and so timestamp. So that is your activity tracker. Commit selective configuration. We already discussed, but I'll once again show you that. What does that topic say? By the way, before I close the previous topic, that is this topic, before I close this, I want to show you two more things that is related to troubleshooting. So I can see some options here. Monitor. Within logs, I can see under configuration, which administrator did what job. Okay, so when I click here, it will show me the complete task. Okay, since I'm only the administrator logged in right now, if there were many guys, then I see who is trying to put a brute force attack, with which admin I'm getting some sort of, continuous failed attempts coming to me. So I can see all of them here. I can also see that what he did, he deleted, he set something, he committed the complete configurations. Okay, these are all in this order. So it starts from 1, 2 and goes to the ascending order. So this is your latest log. So monitor, log, configuration will also show you the activity tracker for other administrators or admins. You can also go to device. There is something called as config audit. And within config audit, you can do the diff check. Okay, say for example, some admin did some commit. Okay, so I can say, I'll tell you, these are all divided in some section. These are section which you have done manually. You might have taken a backup of running configuration. You might have taken a backup of the candidate configuration. It will start showing under saved version. These are the committed version, the number of times I was doing some committed, correct? These are the generic option: local config candidate, local running configure, merged running configuration. So let's say I have a doubt on one of our admin who did some mistake. Might be he did trigger the job ID 10, and I want to check it with job ID 5. I'll click on show me all the difference and I'll click on go. It will give me the diff check, it like a compare check, what happened between this to this. Okay, so this is all part of your admin tracking concept. So what happened on the job ID 10. So he did something which was not present earlier. Or let's see that he changed to this, where earlier it was this. It will also help you to revert back to a working scenario. Okay, let's say job ID 10 broke your NTP process or broke your log forwarding mechanism. Now you can compare what happened in between this to this, and then you can place that rule or delete that rule and make it work. Okay, so remember these two options from troubleshooting point of view for activity indicators, administrator activity indicator. Under monitor and under device, you have two tabs. Okay, so any doubts so far? Are we good?
Fazil speaking. Sir,
Yes.
when you show the configuration difference, it's a kind of XML format, right? Is there any way to change the output in a different format?
Here it will be using XML itself, but you can do conversion by taking the copy and applying in the online converter. So there are some converters outside like JSON to XML and all. There you can do that. You cannot do it here. It will only work on XML concept. Okay. So you can use the converter.
What
You
is
can.
the difference between local configuration backup and the candidate configuration? Would you please again
Which
explain
one?
that? This local candidate config and the local running config.
Okay. See, that part I have not covered. It is
Okay, it's
your.
fine. If it is not covered, we'll go with the flow. No problem. It's fine.
See, it will come in this topic today.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so where I'll show you what I'll tell you about the different configurations and different things we have and backups. Okay, so just wait for one topic, then we'll come to the topic that you just asked.
Sure, sure.
Okay, so let me go with the commit selective configuration. Okay. As I was telling, let me do some change. Let me do something, some changes first. Then it will start reflecting over there. So let me just add it to some different mode. Then it will reflect. So regarding the commit, there are two types of commit. One is you can commit all the change, or you go by admin to admin. So whoever is the thing, you can do it. Okay. So that is about commit all and commit selective. Okay. Now coming to this topic, which it say configuration backups. So we should know that what are the different type of backups we have in Palo. So there are two types. One is called running configuration. Okay, that also starts from your startup configuration when you boot up. And the second configuration is your candidate configuration. Candidate configuration. Now what is what? So running configuration is that configuration which was committed previously and it's on your appliance. Okay, which is on your appliance. Whereas candidate config is not on your appliance. It is a copy of your running config plus some policy you might have added. You might have added some policy. You might have deleted some object group. Okay, the add-ons. This collectively makes your candidate file. Now, the moment you commit it, it's gonna go inside the Palo Alto compliance. Now that will be called as a running configuration once again. And running configurations are saved inside running running config.xml. Okay, so running configuration sits on your firewall. Candidate is your copy of running plus or minus something deleted, something added, some changes you did is called candidate. The moment you commit, it will convert into running, and there is nothing called candidate at that point of time. Okay, so that is about this. You can take the backup of both. In fact, you can take a backup of candidate. Also, you can take a backup of the running configuration. Remember, they all get saved in XML format here by default. And when you load it or you bring it back to the firewall, you can just call that particular files. Okay, the advantage of taking backup of candidate file is that if you added something, let me give you one case study. Let's say we have Palo Alto. So admin did some changes. Some admin called this did a change. Some admin so-called did a change. Okay, so something coming from this was committed by the administrator, but something which came from Sagar and Tim was not committed. Now they are sitting on the candidate file. What if this gets rebooted? So all your candidate files will get vanished. Okay, the things that you made changes will get disappear. So better take the backup of this before you do some sort of reboot or something, so that once the device is up, you can load back and then you can validate the changes, and if all is good, then you can commit it. Okay, so that your effort is not wasted there. So let me show you the different options here. Device setup, operations. Okay, you can save your configuration snapshot. You can say that it is 30 July 2022. Something I did today, and I can click on OK. Okay, it says that config saved. Now this is a candidate file. Okay, and similar way, save named configuration snapshot. See, there will be already some files. I can say this is a snapshot. Candidate 30 July snapshot. Okay, click on OK. So see, one was configuration snapshot, and one was your candidate configurations backup. Now, where are they sitting? In case if I have to download them, so you can download actually from this option. So you click on the drop down, you will find this file. You can click on OK. So it will ask you where do you want to download it. So having a copy of it is always good in case if you see that there is a reboot option or something like that. And import is straightforward. You can just click on this. You can browse that particular file. Okay, and then you can import it. There is option of load here. So let's say you have imported it. So where would it reflect? It will reflect under load option. Okay, so here, see, these are the version configuration. You have an option here to load it. See, let's say 30 July so and so, and you can click on this. Okay, the complete backup, taking of backup, export, import, they have made very simple. You go to this option and you find all the things here. You can revert also. As I told you, there were some config push and I just want to delete them, or I want to revert back to the last thing. So I can click on that. Okay, say for example, if I say yes, configuration is being reverted. Please check the task manager for its status. You should reload the page when task is completed. Okay, as I told you, the option here under monitor configuration, you will see the complete details. Okay, so the things will get configured here. So let's say what is happening here. Import network so and so. Yeah, that is because we added something, but that was not good. Okay, see the configuration here. No pending change to commit. So whatever was pending config, it has just reverted to the previous thing. And if you wanted to go one step back or two step back, then you have to have the file with you. You will import it and then you can load that file so that whatever steps behind you want to go, you can take it to that. But however, I showed you the comparison and all that feature that can also help you to revert back some config block. And also there are multiple ways you can actually revert back. Sometimes only a one block would be available, which you have to revert back. So you can see the diff between job ID 10 and job ID 8. Then you can delete it and revert back. Not necessarily that entire config, because that is risky also, right? In production, if you revert the complete config, who knows, there was some DHCP thing you did DNS thing, etc., etc. Okay, so depends upon the requirement and different options available to revert and do needful. So any doubt with this backup, revert, these things?
Sagar, so you said candidate configuration and the running config, right? So this running config is global. That I understood. For candidate configuration, for each admin, the firewall is maintaining different profile, different file, or it is a global again?
No, it will maintain only one file for
One file
candidate.
for the entire candidate. Even if it is 10 admins available, so only one file is being maintained.
Yes, there will be one file, but the changes within that will be noted by which admin that has been done. So when you revert back, it will show you that this block was done by this. If you want to commit only that, then you can select only that.
For example, in admin one session, I'm creating some object, but I'm not pushing to that running config. So that object is visible to the different admin when he is login, or
Yes,
it is
it will be login. It will be visible here itself.
okay.
When
But again, that is temporary. You are telling if the firewall is rebooted, then that configuration will be wiped out.
yes, it will be
until
going.
unless if you are not pushing to running config.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So only two files is being maintained by the firewall. One is for the running config, one is for the candidate config.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and also here in this operation, I can see this load configuration version. So every commit when I'm doing, so firewall by default it's taking some backup, right?
No, actually, it will not take any backup. That is one thing you need to know. There is no automatic backup. It's all manual backup.
But while then how you are loading the version? See, can you click that load configuration version again? So here I can see with the date and the time, whatever commit has happened. See 1, 2, 3, 4. So does it mean it's taking the backup automatically
No,
for
no,
every changes?
no, it's not the complete backup. It's the commit that you did. That 2-3 changes that you would have done it, right?
Okay. So that is being okay.
Let's
Fine.
say on commit 1 you did some added some interface. That is only partial configuration, not the complete running configuration.
Okay, fine. So
Yeah.
whatever changes that admin is made, so that changes only getting backed up by the firewall.
Yes, depending upon commit, in that commit whatever changes you might have done, that can be reverted back by selecting so and so.
Okay, fine. So every reboot, the firewall is getting pushed that candidate configuration to the running config. So every reboot, this configuration will be fetched from the candidate and put up in the running config, right?
No,
So
not like that. See, when you reboot a box,
okay,
when you reboot a box, your running configuration will be taken up, and all your candidate, which is temporary, will get erased up.
okay.
Okay.
This startup configuration do we have?
That is what startup and running configuration, which will be taken up here. Okay, your startup configuration will be present, right, in your NV RAM.
Mhm.
So that will be taken up for initial boot up.
So
Okay.
we have a three backup file. One is startup. Sorry, we have three files. One is startup and the NVRAM. So sorry, startup and candidate and the running config.
See, now again, that is a bit different. Say, for example, on different devices, okay, on different, like for example, 𝒂𝒔𝒕𝒆𝒚 firewall, you will maintain one startup configuration, which will be in the NVRAM. And then you will have something called as running configuration, because the moment you add something, that will go and sit on your this one appliance. In a real time, it will start this one. What happens when you reload that? Whatever you added up, that will got disappear if you would not have done write memory. Okay, it will load once again from the startup configuration only. So once the startup configuration loads up, and your running configuration will be same only, right, at that minute, when you have not added any additional line for commit and all. So here in this case, your startup configuration and running configuration will be same until you have not added any candidate configuration to this. So you're getting that point?
Yeah, I got it. But
Hmm.
the startup and NVRAM both are single file. You mean to say?
Yes, there is only one file here. There is something called running-config.xml. Only one file will be present.
Okay, this running config.xml is saved in which directory?
It will be in the backend. It will be getting this one, or we can download it in our local machine itself.
Okay, fine. So
If you,
I just
yeah.
want to save the changes, whatever are being done by me as an admin. So for that, I have to go for the manual process, right? There is no automatic way to take the backup, whatever changes committed by the admins. But it is not getting pushed to that running config. But I just want to save that configuration, whatever
Correct.
policy.
So that time you have to take your candidate backup. Otherwise, you will lose all your efforts of adding the policy and all.
So that backup, I have to come to the operation and save candidate configuration. This option I have to.
Yes, you have to do the save candidate. So whatever is the pending change in my candidate file, that will get saved here.
Okay, fine. And also after commit, I can see some log button. What does it mean?
I'll come to that.
Okay,
That is
fine.
next topics. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That's my
Uh,
question.
okay. So there are few more topics. Let's get jumped to that. That is called, one is called export configuration table. Okay. Now think from audit purpose. If a auditor is in your network, and he says that he needs the access to the Palo Alto to check the policy, or he wants to check the compliance for certificate and all those things. Here in Palo Alto, there is a concept that without you giving him any access, you can still give him what he's asking for. So that's called export configuration table. And especially this is used for audit purpose, or let's say your manager is asking you to create his access. You have to create his tickets, that there's everything. It will take half an hour, but he needs only 1 minute of job in that. So why don't you take that and give him via email or something? So this is another good feature here. So in this case, what I do is, there is something called uh, there's something called as the export configuration table. So how do you open that? Let me show you here. So let's say when I'm under the network tab. So do you see this option called PDF and CSV? So the export can be done only in PDF or CSV. If you go with PDF option and your number of line is more than like 50,000 something, 50,000 rows in that particular uh, file. So PDF will start creating in part by part structure, like PDF1, PDF2, PDF3, put with some timestamp, etc. But if you go with CSV, then single CSV can handle all the configuration. Let me show you what it is gonna accumulate and how does it look like. let's say we did some changes here in the device, in the banner or something like that. Again, and one more thing. So what exactly this will take is policy, object, certificate, etc. Okay, so you have to check under network only. So let's say under network, I will make some changes. Let's say I make HA pair. I say this is L3 something. Okay, and my auditor or manager is asking me to give him the complete config. I don't want to add him as administrator or something. I click on PDF, and there is an option here, PDF or CSV. So let's say I go with PDF. PDF what format? A4 size. Export. What you can give a name of your choice. Save it. Open it. So this is his audit report. He will see what is added, what is present in that. So we just did some random dummy thing. It is visible for him. What he will do apart from this by having the access, correct? If he's an auditor, not from our network side or something, it's not that we are comfortable giving him, because that will take a lot of management approval also. You cannot add auditor as such. It will go to management, they will approve. Let's say the work was very critical and he wanted to know the thing, so it's very simplest option. Either you go with PDF and go with CSV now. So I'll show you the CSV format. Okay, remember, these files are one-way direction. Now this file you cannot bring back to Panorama or Palo and configure it. So don't think that this is some sort of template that you will push back via Panorama or some automation, and it will be getting pushed back. It is no way some template or something. It's only one-way direction. That is your Palo, from Palo going outside. This files cannot be brought back to them. Okay, remember that. So don't be confused with this is some sort of template. You can use it for some reconfiguring or something. This can be used only when you don't need someone to give access to firewall, but still he wants to know what is configured. Are they as per compliance? Okay, for all that purpose. Simple topic, just that you should know that there are options here that you can use it. Okay, so what it was about, okay, I have not mentioned here because a lot of things I could not mention. It look a too lengthy kind of thing, but yes, these are something which part of it. Okay, next topic here after export configuration, it's called global find search. You can search almost anything here under global find search. So how do you get into that? There is a button here. Okay, so let's say I know that there is some user by default called as admin. Okay, so if I click on admin, it will start reflecting wherever that was being used. So there is admin under administrator. I know that, and I can see the config there. So when I hover on that, you can see the config there. Under job, I can see there was some changes done, some commit done, correct? So if you're, let's say you receive a ticket, network troubleshooting ticket, there is some IP 1.1.1, and you put that, otherwise you have to search by going lot of menu. This is called global find. It will track down, and there are some there are certain what you say thumb rules here which is important to know. Let's say you're making a search on a two words separated by a space. Might be this was a single word for you, but firewall will treat in a two different manner. It will treat network Okay, and firewalls. So and operator is being added up. Okay, so to avoid this, what you can do is you can go with the exact match, exact phase match. That is by adding the inverted comma. You can just add inverted comma. You can say it is not two different word, it's a single word. This is also called as exact match. I'll show you when you were searching for that particular thing, admin, enter. Okay, when you go back, it will also start showing you the history here, whatever you had searched within that. So let's say if I want to do an exact match, I go with admin with inverted comma, enter there. Okay, and it will show me the exact thing now. Earlier, it was showing me all the possibility. Now I said I am only specific about admin, not admin space something. That's why it's showing only that. Okay. Let me also try one more combination. Network, admin, firewall, Cisco, Junos, Arista, enter. Okay. So this is considered to be a bad example. Don't give too many words because then you will not get a proper narrow down answer. It will start giving you a lot of other junk values. If you're going with 5 words or 4 words or something, go with inverted comma so that it will at least give you a very accurate answer. Okay, so this is something about global find. Either you can run it from here on the top right corner, or you right click on either one of the interface. You just click on, let's say here, there is also option of global find. It will go there. So you don't have to, manually copy or manually write the things like this. If you are looking for something, you can just click here, global find, and it will start showing whether this interface was used in any zone or any virtual router or any policy. It will start reflecting here. A very good way to search for something. Okay, I hope that was simple and clear. It's called global find search. Now let's go into managing the logs. Okay, managing logs. Why do we need log? Now let's say I got one firewall with me. Already admin is logged into that, and he's making some security policy. He's adding some IPsec configuration, and then I log into that. Let's say I am also trying to add some IPsec at the same time. There is possibility that whatever interface he might have taken, I am also trying to do the same thing. Might be my configuration is breaking his configuration, or his configuration is breaking my configuration, right? This challenge always occurs whenever you're trying to config something or whenever you're trying to commit something. Think in this way: admin just logged in to all approve the previous pending changes. But there is some person who is already still doing some changes. He might be added up policy, but now he is also adding up some interface to that. Because sometimes happen, people just submit it, which will start reflecting in the commit over there, right? So what this administrator can do is he can apply the concept of lock. When he acquire the lock, at that particular time of period, no one can do anything. Again, that depends what type of lock he is going with. If he go with config lock, no one would be allowed to put any new config. If he's going with commit, no other administrator would be allowed to do a commit until he finishes it. This is good when you have multi admin in your network. Okay, so I'll show you now here in the dashboard. When you click on that, see, it will show me all the users or admins that is logged in first. Like all admins will be put up here. Type, under type, it will show me whether he's a device administrator or he's a super user, etc., etc., what time he logged in, etc. And then I, as a, let's say, level 4 administrator, I can take the control now. I can say take lock. It is giving me two options: either commit, because let's say I'm committing the change and I don't want any new policy to be coming instantly the moment I add on commit, because without my validation that can get approved. Or I'm doing some configuration or I'm making some commit. I don't want someone to change something meanwhile. So I can block it. Okay, I can say a reason. I'm approving pending changes. Please wait for 30 minutes. And then I can click on OK. Now what happens? It's been acquired by me. No one else logged in can do anything with respect to config, because it's a config lock now. If I want to do another lock, commit lock, put a reason and post it. That's all. No one else can do something to this. Okay, so this is a concept of lock, just to safeguard by some loopholes or some communication gap. This concept is also available in Checkpoint. I don't know about FortiGate if this is available. In Checkpoint also this option is available. When an administrator is trying to commit or something, they acquire the lock so that no one else try to add or tweak or something. And until then, no one can do anything. It will be like a read-only concept. And when the job is done, when he unlocks them, so let me see how to remove the lock. See, you can remove the lock. When the job is done, you can just take it out. You can inform the other people that it's done and they can do whatever they want to do it. All right, that was about lock there. So we have seen, and this is about revert the change and all. Okay, if you want to just revert the change, etc., you can just remove it. Okay, if you want to save it, you can just save them. So these are the 3 buttons on the top. Okay, now coming to yeah, go ahead.
Save changes, right? What does it mean?
Save is your temporary this one candidate. It will not apply to your this one. I mean,
Okay.
it will not apply to your running configuration. Just that if you log out and log in, and if that has to be present, you can just store. Like let's say morning you logged in, you added some security policy, then you went into a priority 1 call. So you can just save it for time being, and after some time you can come back and restore from that.
But you said until unless there is no reboot, that
Correct. Until reboot. Yes, that's correct. If reboot is there, it will go.
Okay, then what does this? I don't see any difference, right? Might be it's for the functional value will be different for that, or
No. See, this is when, for example, what happens is you did some changes and it is present in that, right? So you can do a save there. See, for example, let me show by doing something. Let's say I'm adding some candidate config. I'll click on save change. See, okay, let's say I do a save change. See, it just created a backup for that. It is not adding somewhere to running config. It is just taking kind of a backup for you. Now, if you want to, let's say it got restarted or something, you can still go and revert back and bring back that changes that you had applied. And then you can resume your.
Even if the devices gets reloaded, so this file will be available. You mean to say like that?
Correct. Yes.
So
because
there is a way to
you took the backup, right? You took the backup now.
Okay, so this is the candidate config backup that we can do it manually.
Yes. Candidate config file backup it is.
Okay, fine. So this will save the candidate config, but it will not get effect until unless we can when we push it from candidate to the running config.
Running
So this
config.
will be permanent, right?
You mean to say running config, right?
No, this candidate
Yeah.
config.
It will be present here. See, I showed you the device and this operation, right? Here it will be present. If you go to this one, export named configuration, it will be present here. Candidate config, which you can also take in your local machine. Candidate config.
Okay.
It's like
So,
taking a backup of candidate file and keeping it with you in case there is a chances of reboot or something.
so if I add the different object and if I'm doing 2 times changes and 2 times saving the file, will that create a 2 different file or a single global file? Could you please do another change and do the save? Let me see.
Okay. See, candidate file will create only one with your 2 changes. So for example, you do some additional change here. You say it HA, okay. And you click on save change. Okay, see whatever changes is present. So see, whatever changes is present till your commit, the running, plus your 2 changes, which is your candidate thing, they will come in one file itself, that snapshot file itself. And if you go back to named configuration snapshot, 1 second, not export, right? See, here it will be present in this candidate config.
So the same file is being overwritten every time.
Overwritten.
Yes. Okay, understood.
Okay, fine. Okay, all right. So what we have next is a bit on the different administrators. We need to know what are different type of administrator possible, and what are the roles that you can assign to him, what type of password you can assign to him, what else, yeah, something about administrator. Let's see what all type of administrator. So you go to device once again, and over here under the administrator, as you know, there is already admin. To create more administrator, you have a option of that doing in this field. So in Palo Alto, all that options are at the bottom, creation of option. So you'll do that. Now, what is this? I'll show you. Authentication profile is if you are having the third party services, duo factors and all those things. So you can add here. Enable additional authentication factor. Add. You can select multi authentication factor. And from this menu, you can go with duo, octa, ping, etc. Okay. And you have to set it up. So you have that option to set it up. That is when you want to put a profile to this person. If you don't want to apply the profile for now, you are creating a local administrator, give him a password. Okay, let's say you're creating a password in this manner. Okay, now it will ask you what type of administrator he is supposed to be. He can be super user, but he can also be read only. That means he cannot commit and all. Okay, you can do that. Or you want him to be administrator who can add policy but not add or not commit, then you can go with this. In this, what happened, he cannot create anything. It will be read only purpose. Let's say you have a junior engineer, you give him administrator read only. He can see everything, but some access would be not available, and he cannot add or commit something. So he has to be a super user to commit, etc. And this is called password profile. You can set up some concept of like in how many days you want this user to change his password, any warning to be given prior to that date, like 2 days before that, any post expiration expire count, or any grace period you want to do something, that changes, you can do it here in this field. So there are two additional field on top of local user. One is you can decide you don't want local, but you want to go with Google Duo or something, then you decide that. Second thing is you decide whether he needs to have some profile set, like how many days you want to change, etc., etc. Rest is on the screen itself. You can just click on the drop down, select one. And also there is one more option, that is either dynamic. If you click on dynamic, you can select from 4. But if you want it to be more role specific, you will decide that this person can have access to CLI, this can have access to object group, but he cannot have access to logs. He cannot have that. I mean, more flexibility. Then you can select role based. If you click on role based, you can create some profile there. Okay, when you click on that profile, you have option. So I can call it as a profile for, let's say, junior engineer or someone, and I can untick what I feel he should not be visible or having access to. So I can just take that out, or I can make read only. See, I can do this way, whatever I want. I can also take his access or give him access. Command line, I can say what has to be allowed. Device admin, then fine. If device reader, he can only read but not configure something. REST API, let's say I just delete whatever is not required. So I can just close it. So most of the options I can, this is like role specific. If you don't want that, then go with dynamic and give him from one of this option, like device administrator or something, and click on OK. So it will start appearing here. As I was showing you admin role, you can also create beforehand, or at the time of configuration itself, you can create multiple roles. Let's say role 1 for junior engineer. You don't need any of this APIs and all. So disable them. You can say that command line, let him have only reader access, create it. Okay. Similar way, you can create multiple roles. Let's say he's a mid engineer. You can create his necessary profile here. And later on, when you're creating the administrator, you can assign them. Or as I was showing about the authentication profile, you can also create authentication profile here. This applies when you're adding the dual factors and all. Okay. So you select multi-factor. Let's say you have a subscription with Google Duo something, you can set up there. You have to set this up. There is option for all this setup. Okay, and then you click OK, then you can say this to that. There is one more option here, that is local user database. So this is used when, let's say, see, there are two ways you can create your firewall access in local. One is local without database, and one is local with the database. So this option is when you just create a username and you set the password yourself. It's locally significant to the firewall. Local with database is when, let's say you have some Linux or Unix login. Okay, Linux and Unix login, and the same username and password you want to set over on this same user. Otherwise, what happened for Linux or Unix, you are making different username password, and here you are making use of a different username password. So in that case, you can select the database option. You can say that you have a so and so. See, I'll show you here. You will create something. You can, this also applies when, in the case you have a Unix password, in a hash symbol, in a encrypted format. That encrypted format itself, you can put it here. That is the benefit of this. If you have the password revealed, then you can put, but sometimes what happens is you do not have the password for that hash. So you can add that hash itself to this, and you can click OK. Okay, you can also create some user group. So you can say this is junior group, and under the users you can add whoever is being added up, and then you can just click OK. Okay, these are some options here. And with respective to authentication part, these are something which we will discuss during the authentication topic. How do you set up the radius, TCAS, LDAP, Kerberos, SSO, multi-factor, etc. Okay, so let me now right now show you just a local user. So let's say I create a new user called as Sagar local 123. I'll go with authentication profile none, because no external duo factor for now. I can set up the password. Okay, I don't have SSH for now. I'll also show the process of SSH. You have to create the SSH keys, and then you can get it certified. So there is option for import all those things. But right now we don't have it. Let's say it's a dynamic user, and I'll click on OK. Okay, let me, where did it go? Let's say local, might be the password didn't match. That's why it failed. Okay. Object already exists. Let's create 4 then. See. Let me preview the change. Role based, okay, it's here. Okay, it's not visible there because it's under the candidate file now. The moment we will push it, it will start reflecting under there. Okay, so we have all those things and all. Let me push it. It's a lab environment, not gonna harm my packet flow or something. I can just go back and wipe it. It will not take much time there. Okay.
Sagar, quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Down, we see the session expired time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is this like, if you log in, we are allowed to log into the device only for specific time, or what is that?
Session expired time. So this is basically like if in case I'm idle out from this minute, at this point of time, it will auto this one.
Okay.
But the moment I'm refreshing, it will also keep on changing. Okay, if I just keep it and go out and come after like 6 and to 8 minutes, then it will expire.
Okay.
You might have seen something called as hello and hold timer in OSPF and all. The timers will keep decreasing, and the moment it's to refresh, it will refresh automatically.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, it says configuration committed, and where are these people gone? So under administrator, what is he? This is super user, device administrator. Users, let's find. Yeah, so we have the users here. Remind me later. Okay, sorry. Actually, the thing is there is some filter by mistakenly. Okay, that's why. So let me take them out. And there they go. Okay, so this is administrator thing. And one more thing, guys. I mean, you might create some administrator later after the class. I'll tell you there can be issue if you try to log in. You see, definitely you try, but you will see yourself if due to the browser cache, you might get into looped. Okay, because this is an IP and you're trying to log in from admin and another user, and also the browser cache. It will not let you to log in. It will try to log in, but it will also kick you out automatically, saying that you got logged out, etc., etc. So that is a known issue in the inside the lab, since the browser cache, etc. You can try clearing the cache, and then you can try. Okay, so that should be a workaround there. Try to clear the cache and then go with that. All right, so where are we? Let's check we did this backup, this this is just port numbers. I'll just tell you. Okay, bootstrap and device. So before bootstrap, let's talk about how do we make a factory default setting if I have to. Okay, so the option for that would be, there's no option from your graphical interface. Let's say this is your Palo Alto. You need to connect a serial console port between this to this. Okay, a serial connection. If you don't have a serial connection, then you can use a USB to serial converter jack. Okay, you can use any other software like Putty, or earlier there was a tools like Terminal. Normally the Cisco process, when you're configuring a Cisco box, usually you used to connect via those console serial cable. When it boot up, it runs in that baud rate of 9600 serial port, etc. Same process. Okay, when you just connect this and when you just connect this to this, you will get the console access for that. And within the console access, you will put a single line of command: debug system maintenance mode. Okay, so debug system maintenance mode, and reload it. Reload the hardware, reload the firewall. Now what happens? A dashboard appears. Have you seen those kernel dashboards on operating systems where you can go to the BIOS, factory reset, sometimes those virtual environment we have to enable on the operating systems like Windows, etc. When the boot up process happen, we normally type F11 or F12 on our laptops, and it get into those maintenance mode, etc. Right? So here the process is a bit different. You will put this command. You will put this command and then you will hit on reload, and then it will start with that maintenance process. And here there is an option for factory reset. Okay, so this is how you will do a factory reset before you ship this to another site. A complete brand new factory reset, and this will go back to your admin and admin process. What about on our lab? On lab, it is simple. I can just wipe it by right click and wipe it. That's because it's a virtual concept in the lab environment. But in the physical hardware, there is nowhere any options given for a factory reset. For to have a factory reset, you have to follow this steps. You got it right. The concept of factory reset on this is a simple wipe, whereas on hardware it's like 2 to 3 different steps. Okay, now once your, let's say once your hardware, okay, let's say PA1, and you have PA2. So you have all the config files here. You have all the config backup files, which you are supposed to put under this. Might be this is end of life, or you have to ship back it to Palo networks or something. This is coming from another data center. You have done the factory reset now. Correct. You already followed the factory reset process. Now it's a empty hardware, empty config, and there's nothing, no config present there. So how would you speed up the process? So this is called as bootstrap. Bootstrap the firewall. That means expedite to speed up the basic configuration on the firewall. You can add all those things like host name, the initial things that we did like DNS, NTP. Okay, all that things you can configure along with whether you need a static or DHCP IP configuration. You don't need to follow that step-by-step configuration. I'll tell you the steps for that. You need to have a pen drive for first. Okay, a pen drive which can have more than 16 or 32, because when you are taking a backup configuration which can have certificate and running configuration, and when it extract, that has to save under the pen drive and it can expand, right? So 16 to 32 GB of a pen drive. Second thing that you need is a file called as init config file. Okay, init config file. Now what this consists of, that depends on whether you need a static IP or DHCP IP. So this is a notepad file. You can also create yourself if you have a template or check it online. So this consists of some key value pair. Okay, like type equals to static, IP equals to 1.1.1, netmark is equals to so and so. You need to get one sample for that. So let me show if I can show you some sample init config text for Palo Alto. Okay, looks like there is something here. Let me show you some images. Yeah, this is the file. This is how it should look like without any space. If you keep a space, there can be chances that configuration, when it start extracting, it might give you an error. Okay, so this is the format. If it is DHCP, give DHCP, and IP address you can just mention as blank. It will automatically take it up. Default gateway equals to blank, net mask blank, etc. Host name you define panorama servers. Any host names you have to define, primary DNS server. Okay, all that things you can define on that. After doing that, after this step, once your text file is done, you should remember that the serial number of the firewall must be registered with your online account at this location, support.paloaltonetwork.com. Okay, it should be registered. There are some options within that, within asset and device. So why do you register here is to get something called as authorization code. Okay, you will receive a authorization code once you register your firewall to the online cloud, online website or your account there. And then what happens is you can upload these files. Okay, you can upload these files on the online account, and then you can download them. And when you download them, the serial number get added to the init config text. Because right now I gave you one example of bootstrap. Let's say you had two different firewalls. So the serial number of this is different and serial number of this is different. So you can download a file which would look like this in structure. So another serial number with its own init config text file. After that, let's say you wanted to also put back the backup configuration, for example, that we told here. So there is some file that you took as a backup, running.config 123.xml. Okay, that file you can create. Okay, you can create and you can name it as bootstrap.xml. After that, you go back to step number 3, that is that online tool. There would be some options called as bootstrap container. Okay, bootstrap container. Upload all the files. Upload the files now. Upload. You can upload even now. If you have not uploaded previously, you can also upload it now. You can upload the init file. You can upload this bootstrap file. Okay, and at this point also you can pull the file with serial number added to that. So the file would look like bootstrap, serial number, whatever the date it is, and some Linux based compressed file. So you know that zip is a Windows compressed file. This is your Linux part. Okay, tar.gz. Now this file, let's say if this file is 500 MB, it's a compressed file which has a configuration, policies, object group, the init files, etc. This file you have to put to a firewall first, any firewall. It can be any working firewall, and then you will try to extract it. Okay, now how do you copy? You can copy via SCP or you can copy via TFTP, whatever that is allowed. The file will go and sit here on in this, and then insert your pen drive into this. So let's say this is a pen drive that you put it on that firewall. and now you put a CLI command to that. Okay, the CLI command, like something like, let me show you on the CLI itself, that part. So let's say if I open the console, okay, I'm basically creating a bootstrap pen drive right now. Like how you create your operating system, bootable operating system on a working machine. Let me show you the command here, if that is visible on the VM based. Oh, okay, I actually had wiped it, right? So all the things are gone. Let's say admin network journey at the rate 123, network journey at the rate 123. Okay, so here there's an option called request system ? Okay, I don't see that option on the VM option, VM software. Otherwise, the command would be like request system bootstrap USB prepare, and the file that we had copied to this. Okay, it will take 15 to 30 minutes for them to extract and create a bootable bootstrap pen drive. And that pen drive, you can now shift it to that factory default Palo Alto, and you can boot it from. Just insert that and just reload from that, and it will take all the config. So this is the simplest method of uh, taking a backup and setting up on a complete new hardware. Okay, it's called a bootstrap process. Otherwise, what would be the method? You will boot up, do the basic management configuration, and whatever that XML file and all those things are there, you can just import it and it will start reflecting. Okay, so that is one option, or you can go with this option as well, the pen drive option.
Sagar, while creating bootstrap file, you said that as a serial number is mandatory, right?
Mm-hmm.
In case of RMA process, if my firewall goes down and it got faulty, so
Mm-hmm.
how I can restore it? Because that firewall, the new firewall serial number might be differ, right?
No, not that way. See, for example, when these Palo Alto people ship you any hardware, that hardware is already mapped to your account. It will be already put up in that. If it is not done, then you can also add it by going to the asset and adding the serial number and the code there. Okay. So that is that you're asking, or
No. Actually, see, I'm creating bootstrap file for my existing firewall. Okay. So while creating, it will ask the serial number. I have to give the existing serial number which is working. Okay. So due to some reason that firewall got crashed, but I have that file with me in my pen drive. So I'm going for the RMA process. So they are sending the new firewall for the replacement. So how I can use that pen drive, because that serial number and which I got new device, that may differ, right?
Uh, see, in that case, I'll tell you. Let's say when you got a new device, so that serial number you have to map with your online tool, and you have to create the bootstrap file at that point. So you should have all that process repeated once again. You will have the backup file with you. You have to create the init text file and repeat the process by going to the bootstrap container from the online tool.
But see, this process and restoring the backup file process will be the same, right? So if I have the backup file for the any faulty device, I can restore that file, right? Instead of creating the bootstrap. What is the big
Yes,
difference?
you can do that. That is why I said no. You can do it even in that way. You can do with this way also. The benefit of this way is that with single file, I mean, single file. If there is someone else in a different location, he can do it and give you the completed this one. The complete hardware, he can ship it by kind of done by himself. So you just have to plug to the network cables.
Okay.
Okay. Because see, let me give a normal scenario. Sometimes on a premises, there could be only junior engineer who do not have a right access and all. And they may not know how to log configure something like that. But if they receive a hardware which is configured already, they just have to cable it and it's ready to come up, right? And what happens is they will do the testing before sending to you. Like things are good, booting up, the basic checks, they can do it from their side. Again, if there is already administrator in the location, then he can backup, he can restore the backup also.
Sir, another thing, while restoring this backup file, that software
Hmm.
file, software pan OS has to be matched while taking, for example, I'm taking some backup with the pan OS 10. So while restoring, I have to have the same pan OS to restore this file, or I can go with a different version also.
You can go with different version because here the data are held by XML format, right? So XML format will be same for any versions of Palo Alto.
Okay, fine. So one thing the good with the bootstrap file, if I want to wipe the firewall and I have to restore it, then I can save some time. That is one good thing I'm feel that. But restoring that file with a different file or with a different serial number, I don't see big difference.
Depends. I mean, see, these are all administrative concept. So we never know. For one, it is useful. For other person, it may not be useful. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thing is that we have the option. We never know. 1% of it might be used. 99% we might still go with the
So
normal.
from your experience, could you please
Hmm.
give me the real use case of this bootstrap file?
Yeah, so see, from real point of view, we have seen is when it's a small site, when there are no capable engineers sitting over there, we usually set it up on our side. We factory reset, we put the bootstrap process, we easily configure it, and then we ship it to them. So before shipping, we will see the hardware, LEDs are all good, because these people will not know other than plugging the cable. It should not be that I send them, but the bootup process got stuck. There was issue with the PSU, or that will lead lot of time again to come from there. Then we fix it, right? So you can test it, then send it. It's ready, like plug and play concept now.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, one last topic here in the administrative part. It's called as device telemetry. If you remember, there were some initial warnings that we were receiving when we tried to log in. Okay. So option, I mean, it's a simple concept. It's just that Palo Alto needs to collect the data from your side, and you voluntarily has to say yes or no to that. You can say no. See, this is the option. By default, it is no. But if you enable, what is happening? Basically, you're making the Palo Alto cloud more and more informative. They can run their own algorithms, and they can, fine tune their cloud. So what happens here is data collection has been expanded to cover device health and performance metric like CPU memory, product usage, threat prevention, example URL filtering, threat prevention, okay, and some additional capabilities. So this information you can voluntarily pass it on to the Palo Alto network. If you don't want, that is why they have not kept it by default enabled. But if you want, you can enable it. I'll show you how do you enable this by getting into this. Okay, they under device, under setup, there is a dedicated tab called telemetry. So you can tick, untick whatever you don't want to send. Again, as I told you, if you do it, it's better. They will have a record of what went wrong with your product. So you can untick or do whatever. And here you can select the region. So let's say this is located in India. So I can go and select the region for this. Now, what it is gonna do is this information, it is gonna push to a cloud called as Cortex Lake. Okay, this is a cloud feature which checks on the URL, the threat prevention. Okay, and also this architecture is a different architecture. If you remember, on the first day I told you Prisma is one, Strata is that employer, and then Cortex is the different task. So we don't have much topic on Cortex. We will be learning the Strata model here, which is the enterprise. Prisma stands for the cloud. Cortex stands for your threat prevention and all those things. It's a complete different domain itself. So this is pushed to the Cortex domain. And when you select the region, okay, when you select the region, you can select any region. You can say okay here. And then what does it say? Before telemetry can be sent, you must install a certificate, right? So you must be installing a certificate. If you don't have certificate, then you can't push it. So let's say you click on this, it will give you information about installation of certificate. Install a device certificate. You can get a certificate, add it, and then you can select the region here. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't have certificate, I think you cannot select the region at least. So let's say US, America, etc. Okay, so let's say if you click cancel to this, go to dashboard. You can see the task here. Under task, it will show you. Okay, let me refresh once. Yes, there are two things that you can add to make this activated. One is either you have the Cortex Lake license. Most of the time you may not have purchased this. So if you do not have this, then you can generate the device certificate. You can generate the device certificate, and then you can select the region that's available, and you can push it to them. Okay. And from CLI point of view, you can see whether it's enabled or whether it's not. Show device telemetry question mark details, enter. See, this is the frequency of that. There are certain frequency, by the way, you can change it once it is activated. You have 20-minute, 60-minute, and I think 8 hours or something. This is the send interval. Until the send happens, this is present in your local Palo itself. Once it is pushed, it will get cleared. But until that, it is over here on the local. And you can also see the stats. Okay, so right now we have not activated because neither we have the device certificate, neither we got the Cortex Lake certificate. So let's say region list. These are the region list. If you're supposed to configure it from the CLI, not from the dashboard, you get into config, set, device config, system, update schedule, question mark. Let's say, what do you want to configure? Threat prevention. Okay, threat prevention, question mark, reports. You can say yes. If you don't want to push, then you can say no. If you want to push, you can say yes. So these are all the device telemetry that can be pushed for a better understanding. If there is any RMS scenario, they will definitely check in the backend that what happened and etc. etc. Also, it will help them to build their algorithms. Okay, so this is about the telemetry, and once this get activated, you will start seeing a CLI option here, which says that CLI admin is monitoring or something, or logged in via CLI mode. Okay, that is for telemetry. Again, most of the time people don't do all this volunteer service, but if you do, it's good. Otherwise, you can just ignore it. Okay. So what topic was that? That was this topic. So we did with today's agenda, and plus we did some additional, which I have not put it across here. Tomorrow I'll show you bit on the lab deployment, how we deployed it. On PNet, I'll show it because these are again the same thing. You need not worry about doing on multiple various lab emulators. One is sufficient for that. And then tomorrow I'll start with might be interface and some configurations here. Okay. And also for you guys as a work assignment or homework, start with your workbook 1. Okay. So what is that workbook 1? Let me show you to you guys. Give me 1 second. Simple thing. We already discussed it today. So what are you gonna do today? You will spin up your lab. I talked about DHCP IP and static IP. That is what you have to do it. Okay. In this workbook, I have mentioned about the static configuration. Okay. The host, and these are the CLI config for making the static configuration on the Palo Alto. Once it is done, you will take the access over on HTTPS. The dashboard will open this way. Just try to navigate and see all those options that we discussed today in the lab. Okay. And as I told you, to wipe, you can just go back and right click and wipe it. Now, once it's start up, it will start up with DHCP process. I'll tell you the process here. So by default, DHCP is configured. And if DHCP server is also configured, then of course it will pull a IP from DHCP, and you know the command, right? Show interface management. Then I can go to the GUI and I can access it. Sometimes what happens, even though the Palo was configured with DHCP, but server might be down, right? If server is not down, then how would you get the DHCP IP? So in that case, what happens? You get a static IP getting considered 192.168.1.1. So this is what you can access it. Or what happens in most of the enterprises, they don't want to go with that 1.1 because that's a generic IP. So in that case, they go with the static IP. So they go with anything that they have reserved for the management purpose. Then they go with HTTPS and so and so. So that is what you guys would be doing across on this. So you will configure a management, and you need to have a computer, by the way. You need to have a PC over here. Then you will configure the same IP on this. Let's say this is 1.1.2 and management IP you set as 1.1.1. That is how you would get the access to that. So this management, you can take it from this computer. Okay. So what you do is I'll just show you quickly. Right now I have added to that, right? So if you don't want to spoil that, you just create a new notes, or you just change one for now. Let's say you delete this for now. Add a computer, because this is how you learn when you try to go with all these options. Okay. So let's say you go with a Windows machine, save it. This is where you will take the management access, connect it. So where is your firewall connected to the management interface? Okay. So once you boot this up, this is not a DHCP server now. So definitely it will not get any IP. It will get into 1.1, 192.168.1.1. Keep the same IP network in this. It should fall under a LAN network. So you can give it 1.100. Then take the access of it, and then just play around with it. The main thing is that you play around with the concept. Okay. Yes, guys. So any doubt?
Sagar, I think in that day one,
Mhm.
the port information has been missed. Could you please go back to that Excel file?
Yeah. I saw that. But what I thought later on is I'll take this, might be when I'm taking security policy. So that time I'll
Okay.
discuss the port. Okay. So it is nothing kind of new thing. It's just that I wanted to discuss you with the frequent used HA port, IPsec port. Okay, it can be used for your interview purpose also. So I'm keeping it blank for now. I'll discuss during security policies.
Okay.
Yes, guys. So any doubt? Any doubt? Are you good with the class today?
Very good, Sagar. I like the way you touch us.
Okay, sure.
Please make sure for the next firewall module also.
Yeah,
Let's bring you.
so next couple of modules are from my side only. After Palo, I will take with Cisco ASA and FTD, then we will go towards F5 LTM. So all the three will be covered with me only. Checkpoint, as you already have covered by Akhil, and FortiGate, we are planning to get another trainer. So that time you take the retake of it. Okay, I'll keep you posted. So that time you take the retake of it. Okay.
And Sagar, could you please share me this Excel file?
Yeah, I'll share you, but again, in this I have added all the things that Palo is capable of doing. So I'm not sure how many things we can do it in the lab. So don't have a bad impression that we could
No,
not
it's
do
fine. The
work
reason why
later.
I'm asking,
Hmm.
because while recapping the video, so there was
Hmm.
no title. So if I
Hmm.
want to, refer some topics, so I can go with this Excel file
Hmm.
and then I can refer the videos, because
Okay.
in that video you are just putting day 1, day 2, day 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Yeah,
what I
sure.
will do,
I'll give this, but yeah, later
um,
on there are some topics where we might not have the provision to do it, so we have to skip and get into other. So that is why I thought I'll first see what all topics we can do it here. But anyway, I'll give it to you, and whichever is not doable, I'll at least share you the theoretical topic with them. Okay.
okay. If possible, just put some title on that video, Sagar, please.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
Because
Sure.
for future reference, now if I want to refer for after some time, So it is very difficult to search it. I have to go to all the videos and I have to drag it here and there. So I have to spend some time to get that exact information. So if you put
Yeah.
some title or something, no, it is good for us.
Okay, sure. No problem. I'll keep it as Palo Alto administrator or administrative class or something like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. So that's all from my side. Yeah, Vishnu, sorry, you have any question? I saw you unmuted. So okay, might be by mistakenly. Okay, no issues. Fine. So if you have any doubt, you can reach out on WhatsApp or call also. All right.